Ha ha! My friends are not wet wash. Dry clean only. Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about the Big Finish audio drama adventure, The Justice of Jalxar, written by John Dory. This is the Big Finish official CD cover, and if you've been watching this series and you know that when I get a Big Finish audio, I make my own DVD cover, and this was actually one of the few times in which I actually printed my own, designed my own cover of it, which is a comparison. Yeah, I changed the robot. Sorry, the glare is a bit. I've changed the robot because, and it's not my best. I don't think it's coming too clear on the screen, but the pictures are very pixelated. That's the spine, if anyone's interested. And that's the back, and yeah, Jago and Lightfoot peeking out from the corner there. So this story reunites our favourite Time Lord, the Doctor, with Jago and Lightfoot, two characters that have appeared previously in the TV show The Talons of Wing Chiang and had their own spin-off series. So this is technically a crossover. However, it is important to note that Jago and Lightfoot met the Sixth Doctor in their series prior to this adventure. So even though for the Doctor this is their second encounter, for Jago and Lightfoot it's actually like their fifth or sixth. And yeah, so is this any good? Is it does it give justice to one of the Doctors reunited with two of his best mates? And how do they react with Romana around and no Leela? So the story is mainly about there's an investigation because there's been some bodies going around that seem to be both burnt and dried at the same time. Whilst this is going on, there's a vigilante that's been attacking people called the pugilist, sorry, which you can see on the cover, and he seems to be attacking people, but he doesn't seem to be killing anyone as far as we know. And the Doctor and Romana, they've been tracking alien technology, and they've tracked one onto Earth around about this time, although the Doctor explains that he's a few months off. I think it was 3 months, and he tries to get up with the local knowledge, and so to catch up, he gets reunited with Jago and Lightfoot. Tom Baker, absolutely amazing, like always, and it just brought a smile to my face of hearing both Jago and Lightfoot return, played by obviously Trevor Baxter and Christopher Benjamin. The four men just work really well. However, their investigations get split into two as the Doctor goes to look with the bodies with Lightfoot, and the Doctor tells Jago to look after Romana, and Romana and Jago have their own little side plots. So we get a back at the ranch storytelling. For those of you who don't know, back at the ranch storytelling is when you have two plot lines that happen simultaneously, and you build up one and then you cut to the other, and then you let that build up and then you cut back, and you just keep doing that, and it keeps the audiences engaged. And this is a very good well-written story from the Doctor and Lightfoot's perspective. You can really see the friendship that they have, and you can and there's this bit don't know how to feel about it. I may consider it a little bit of a criticism, but earlier on the Doctor doesn't explain why he's in Victorian London at the moment. And I don't know why he does that, so that's a little bit of a complaint, but soon he does tell Lightfoot what's going on, and Lightfoot is just like, Doctor, I'll follow you to the end of the earth, just showing that passion that they have for each other. And them both being like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, you really get that that feel, and especially how the Doctor is always the smart one. And so they investigate the bodies, and the Doctor realizes that despite these bodies being dead, nobody seems to claim or reported any missing people. So they must be from London's dark territory, like the underground of the criminal world. And so he suggests that the pugilist. He suggests that the pugilist might have something to do with it. And on the other end, you got Jago and Romana. Now, Jago takes a fancy to Romana, and we get some really great humorous moments in which he's kind of blushing towards her, and she's just not that interested. Though she does kind of like him. She does kind of, get along with him. She just doesn't like him the way that he likes her. And with Big Finish now handling Romana 1 instead of the TV series, she's handled so much better in this one story. As far as I'm concerned, from what I've listened to, with this being my only Romana 1 story, and I've seen all of her television appearance, this is my favourite story with Romana in it. She is independent, she takes action. She basically leads her own side of the investigation, as they've taken a cab to a restaurant, only for the cab to take them in the middle of the street where they get mugged. Though Romana doesn't seem to understand the urgency, as she's like, I'm sorry, I don't carry any money. But Jago, he carries £5 with him, so I'm sure Jago would help you with your money problems, which just shows the humorous elements of Romana not understanding human customs. And so Jago and Romana, they just have a nice, lovely just relationship about them that keeps the story engaging. Their plot line takes them where the pugilist comes and attacks the man and tells them to run off, and later on we hear that the man that he beats up gets killed by a giant robot called Justice, which is the big robot. That's why it's called the Justice of Jalxar. And so Romana and Jago track them down to a base to which the Doctor and Lightfoot also meet up there. And so the Doctor explains that this is a robot of Jalxar, a civilization that knows no crime because they don't have any judge or jury, they just have executioners. Their robots can read people's minds, and so it can judge them accordingly. However, it needs a symbiotic host, because otherwise it will just murder anyone who feels guilty about anything. So it connects itself with the first human it's found, which is what's his name? Bobby Stanford, who becomes the vigilante, the pugilist. Sorry, that's really hard to pronounce. God damn you, Big Finish. And so he basically becomes like basically a Victorian Batman, in a way. That he's basically going around causing justice to people, because he's also wearing Jalxar armor and boots and the mask to protect his face. And yeah, you really, and when you hear about this character story, especially when the Doctor and Romana team up. They also get introduced to a young girl named Mary Brown, and she is reported that she comes here every few often because she gets anonymous messages that leaves her money. She appeared very early on in the story, in which a man demands that she gives her money because she's a pickpocketer. She's a lawbreaker that pickpockets people and takes their money and stuff. So yeah, and she explains to the doctor that she gets anonymous messages and anonymous money, and there's a bit of an admirer. And it slowly turns out that the pugilist, Bobby, he fancies this girl, and he knows that basically gets treated unwell by her criminal bosses, who use her to pickpocket people and get as much money as they can from her, and they treat her unfairly. And so what he does is he takes justice onto himself, and he strikes them down, killing anybody who would harm this poor girl. And her boss has now tracked them to this area and believes that the doctor might be part of it, might be the pugilist himself. And so they try and kill him, but the doctor delays them with his usual banter and his usual personality, so that the pugilist could come and protect them. Whilst this is happening, Romana and Mary get freed, and they go to the bar, I believe it was, and she explains basically that like she doesn't understand why anybody would admire her. She doesn't seem important. There's a great line in which the boss character tells the doctors like she's worthless, and the doctor is like, that's strange. From my point of view, she's clearly worth 10 of you, maybe even 20. And I really love that bit. And then when he slaps the doctor, and the doctor's like, thank you for just proving my point. Brilliant. And so the pugilist then attacks the mob boss, freeing the doctor, Jago, and Lightfoot. However, the doctor stops the pugilist, and he needs to save Mary from some more of these criminals. So the doctor does something to the robot that stops the pugilist from moving, and so the doctor, Jago, and Lightfoot all go and help Romana and Mary, only for the pugilist to get free, and the robot goes on a havoc, killing anybody it finds guilty of feeling any sort of remorse or guilt. However, things take a twist as the machine looks at Mary and sees that she is full of guilt, and so he judges her guilty and tries to kill her, only for the pugilist, Bobby, to get in the way and sacrificing himself. But because now the robot has no symbiote host, it just feels like anyone could be basically guilty, and so it goes on a killing spree, but the doctor distracts him because he is just full of guilt. I'm afraid the script doesn't do a very good job at showing the doctor's guilt. He just basically shouts out, yes, I got many deaths on my hands, now come after me, haha. It's a bit of a swashbuckling moment, but I think that moment should have been a lot more hard-hitting. I think a lot more, in the feels, but no, it's just mainly used as a plot point. It also judges Jago and Lightfoot as guilty, which might play into season 1 of Jago and Lightfoot, in which poor Jago had to shoot the barmaid's brother. I can't remember her name at the moment. I do apologise. And so Doctor tricks the robot into falling into the ocean, and where it'll fall and turn into rust. And the story ends with Dr. Jago and Lightfoot having muffins, and the Doctor and Romana saying goodbye, and we see you very soon. And so that's the justice of Jalxar. Overall, it's a pretty fun story. I doubt it'll be anyone's favourite anytime soon, but it's a lot of fun. It's lovely to hear Jago and Lightfoot reunite with the Fourth Doctor again. It still has that vintage Victorian or Edwardian feel to the whole story, and Romana actually gets a pretty decent character in this story. Sadly, this will be the last time that we'll be talking about McEdam's incarnation of Romana, as this is the only audio I have of the second season of the Fourth Doctor Adventures, and just after they finished recording them, she sadly passed away. I also stated that in her only TV season, she left because she didn't feel like the character was well written, and she left. And she said she would have done a regeneration story, but they didn't ask her to return, which I find is a really a crying shame. And McEdam is just a phenomenal actress. She might not have had the best stories under her belt, but man, she gave off one hell of a performance, and she took what she had and she owned it. However, when one door closes, another door opens. So join me next time where the Doctor and a new incarnation of Romana land on a planet that seems familiar, and the Doctor gets interrupted by a formidable and familiar foe. So join me next time for the destiny of the Daleks. See you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-ra!